What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode one of the TB Baseball Daily Podcast. A lot of good stuff happened this week, but let's get started with the schedule for tonight's games. Now, I'm going to pull up the schedule real quick. Just give me 1 second. Now, you can see right here tonight we got San Francisco at Detroit. Ross Stripling versus Tarek Skubal. I'd say San Francisco should win that matchup. They've been in a little bit of a slump lately, but Detroit hasn't been the best team this year, so San Francisco should come on top. Now, Baltimore versus Philly, that'll be a really, really good game. Baltimore just won 3 out of 4 over the Rays, and now they're first place in the AL East. Let's see how long they can hold on to that. The Phillies, they've been up and down, but overall, they're doing pretty well past couple days. Bryce Harper with that big game the other day, so let's see if they can keep it going. And you got Colorado versus Washington, matchup of two struggling teams. Washington just got their first series sweep, though. So let's see if they can continue that momentum. Patrick Corbin on the mound. He's been, up and down this year, but we know what he can do. We've seen him pitch well in the past. Then Kansas City versus Cleveland. Kansas City, obviously one of the worst teams in the league, just got swept by the Yankees. So they'll be playing Cleveland at Cleveland. Cleveland's still in contention in the playoff race. See where they are in the standings. Cleveland 49 and 50, 3 games out of first in the Central. So if they can get this sweep against the Royals, that'd be huge for their playoff run. Now let's go back to the schedule. Seattle, Minnesota, obviously another big matchup for both teams, as you can see in the standings. Again, Twins, first place in their respective division, but the Mariners lurking around in fourth in the West, but they're 50 and 49, maybe can sneak in to that wild card spot, but they need to win a lot of games down the stretch. And this series against the Twins would be a great way to start that off. Now back to the schedule again. We got Cincinnati at Milwaukee. 2 teams who have both been sort of surprising me this year that they were this good. But once again, look at the standings. The Reds and Brewers neck and neck at the top of the NL Central. This is a huge series for playoff implications. The Reds, they're really good as an underdog, one of the best underdogs in the league. The Brewers, Christian Yelich has really turned it around this year after a few years of struggling. And the Brewers, man, they could make a run if they can get a little bit of a gap against the Reds. But me personally, as a baseball fan, I would love to see the Reds back in the playoffs. It's been way too long. So once again, Texas at Houston. Texas, another team that has been really, really good this year. Houston obviously won the World Series last year. We know they can get hot. But Texas right now is one of the best teams in the entire AL, in my opinion. 59 and 41. The Astros 3 games out. So if the Astros were somehow to sweep this series, they'd be tied right with the Rangers for first in the West. This playoff race is very close everywhere. As you can see, AL East super crowded. Central, got those 2 teams at the top. The rest, not really much. And then here, even the Angels now starting to creep up after, they had a bit of a rough patch, but now they're only 8 games out of the Rangers and 5 games out of the Astros. So you never know in the MLB, man. We're 100 games into the season, 62 more to go. So see what these teams can do. And you got St. Louis at Arizona. Arizona been another great team. Their young rookies, Corbin Carroll and Zach Allen. He's not a rookie, but he's been very good on the mound. Cy Young candidate. And Adam Wainwright still on the bump for the Cardinals. He's been pitching for years now. Can remember him back when I was a kid in the early 2000s. He's still on the mound. Crazy that he's still pitching. But this is a big game for both teams. And yet again, the Cardinals haven't been the best this year, 44 and 56. But maybe they can try to turn it around here in this series. Diamondbacks have lost a little bit of momentum in the West as the Dodgers have started to heat up. 7-3 in their last 10, 2-8 in their last 10 for the Diamondbacks. A little bit of a struggle. So this series can be a good way for them to get back on track against the Cardinals. And now we got Pittsburgh at San Diego. San Diego's got Yu Darvish pitching. He had a good outing last time he was on the mound. Pittsburgh, they've been up and down. One of those franchises that hasn't been great over the past couple of years, 43 and 56. So we'll see what they can do. The Padres, obviously 48 and 52, a little bit disappointing. I thought they were going to be a little bit better. They're 5 and 5 in their last 10 compared to the Pirates who are 3 and 7. So we'll see if the Padres can get back on the right foot and maybe make a late run to the playoffs. And then our last game for tonight is Toronto at LA. Two teams who are extremely, extremely dangerous at the plate. Both have a lot of home run hitters. If you look at the standings once again, you got the Blue Jays right in the thick of it in the AL East, just ahead of the Red Sox and the Yankees, and just a few games behind the Rays and Orioles. So this series is huge for the huge for the Blue Jays. They're 6 and 4 in their last 10. Then the Dodgers, obviously, they're 7 and 3, as I just mentioned, 57 and 41. So let's see if the Dodgers can hold their lead. It's a tough series against the Blue Jays, no slouch. So that's our games for today. Now I want to talk a little bit about last week because we had a performance by a specific player that I wanted to highlight. This man right here, Freddie Freeman. I want you guys to take a look at his last 7 days at the plate. You take a look right here. 14 for 24, 13 runs, 3 homers, 7 RBIs, 5 walks, a triple, and 3 doubles. Now that's a hell of a week. You can't ask for much better from your 3-hole guy. Freddie Freeman averaging 330 with a 331 average this year, excuse me. But at the beginning of this week, if you take a look here at these games, Monday he was batting 318. Throughout the week, he managed to bring his average up 13 points, which is super impressive. Batting over 500 on the week. So in the NL, he's definitely my player of the week. If you're looking for something like that, he has been fantastic this whole season. Threw himself right in the thick of the MVP race. Now, if we take a look at the MVP, I can just pull up another tab here. Take a look at the MLB MVP race. This is from June. This is kind of far back here. Let's pull up a different one. Now, Freddie Freeman was in the AL. Obviously, Ohtani is going to win the AL MVP, so he wouldn't really have a chance. But if you take a look here, that's not going to let me pull it up, of course. So this is from 5 days ago. So Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman right in the thick of it here, both on the same team. I'd argue that Freeman is a little bit better than Mookie Betts because, he's hitting better. He does have less homers. He's got 70 RBIs now in the season after this last week. So, I would say Freeman is slotting in right here at number 2 over Mookie. But the problem is Acuna has just been way too good this year. He's on the pace for the 40-40 season. He's already got the 40 stolen bases. He has about 24 home runs now. So in order for either of those guys to pass Acuna, they're going to have to do something spectacular in this last 60 games. But Freddie Freeman's definitely making a case. If he can keep hitting like this, keep it up, then you never know. Corbin Carroll's also on there, the rookie. He's been very good for the Diamondbacks. Part of the reason why they're so good this season. Batting 290 now. This is a little old, but yeah, Freddie Freeman, definitely the player of the week in the NL for me. Now, as we're going to pivot back to the AL, we're going to change it up a little. We're going to go with team of the week, and that's going to be the Baltimore Orioles. I don't know if you guys expected anything different, but they were fantastic. 2 tough series this week. Yes, they did lose the series to the Dodgers, but that one against the Rays was huge. 3 out of 4 to take down the top seed in the AL. And now they take the top seed in the AL with those 3 out of 4 wins. Gunnar Henderson, as you can see here, and Ryan O'Hearn homered yesterday. Gunnar Henderson has been very, very good. Obviously, the average isn't there, but he comes in the clutch. Batting first as a rookie, And Adley Rutschman's been in there, getting RBIs, getting hits. Anthony Santander, Ryan O'Hearn, as I said, Austin Hayes batting 296. He was batting around 300, but he's in a little bit of a slump now. But the Rays, man, I don't know what's going on. They started off the season, as a lot of people know, 13-0. And, ever since then, just hasn't been the same team. Obviously, they've won their games. They have 60 wins. Don't get me wrong. The Rays are still a fantastic team, but they're definitely going through a little bit of a slump now. And I want to see if they can turn it around. They have a great team. Yandy Diaz has been fantastic leadoff, 317 this year. Arozarena, he has his moments where he hits for power. Wander Franco, obviously, he has his moments too. So they can make it happen. They can turn this around. But right now, the Orioles are the hottest team in the AL right now, in my opinion. Now let's go back to let's get a little bit of an update of our league leaders now. So we have Luis Arias still batting around 380. He's having a great season. He cooled down a little bit. He was batting 400 earlier in the year, but he slowed down, batted 379, which is still pretty damn good. Ronald Acuna is second with a 332 average. He's been fantastic. NL MVP front runner. Freddie Freeman, as we just talked about, right up there with Acuna, 331 for that fantastic week he just had. Yandy Diaz, like I just mentioned for the Rays, batting 317, right in there in fourth. And then Masataka Yoshida, the rookie from the Red Sox, who's been part of the reason why they've been able to bounce back this year and have not a great season, but a better season, batting 315. He was one of my players of the week. If you guys saw that on Instagram, he's been very good for them, slotting in. They put him in anywhere in the lineup. He plays DH, and he's been very good. So let's look at the pitching leaders for wins. Zach Allen, as I just mentioned before, Cy Young candidate, 11 wins on the season. He's been great for the Diamondbacks. Nathan Eovaldi, 11 wins for the Rangers, top of the league. He's had a good bounce back season. Spencer Strider, 11 wins, the current strikeout leader in the MLB, as we'll look at in a little bit. But he's doing very well for himself down there in Atlanta, and Atlanta's doing very well, top of the entire league in terms of wins. Zach Elvin for Tampa Bay, been good. As you guys all know, Shane McClanahan went down with an injury, so Elfin's been able to step up 11 wins. And Taijuan Walker for the Phillies, another great pitcher with 11 wins. Yeah, we'll look at the complete leaders for wins here. So yeah, Shane McClanahan here, as you guys see, 11 wins, only a 2.89 ERA, but he's been out for a little bit. Then you got Clayton Kershaw, who's a Cy Young candidate this year, has been fantastic for the Dodgers, per usual. Garrett Cole, another Cy Young candidate for the Yankees, 9 wins. And then I mentioned before, we'll take a look at the strikeout leaders. Spencer Strider's got a sizable lead here with 14.6 Ks per 9 innings, which is a fantastic rate. Obviously, his ERA is a little bit high, but, strikeouts are strikeouts, man. He could be going for maybe 300 this year if he keeps it up. 14.6 Ks a game is no joke. Then you got Kevin Gossman for the Blue Jays, 162 Ks, doing very well for himself this year. 12 Ks per 9 innings, 7-5. He hasn't had the best of luck with getting help from the team, but only a 3.18 ERA. So Gossman's been doing well. Pablo Lopez for Minnesota, one of the bright spots of their team in that league-leading Central Division. Record's not there, but the Ks are there. The ERA is a little high as well, but like I said, strikeouts are strikeouts, man. Ohtani, which is just crazy to me that he's on this list. Probably one of the best players I've ever witnessed. No, he is the best player I've ever witnessed. 148 strikeouts in 19 games, putting him at 11, almost 12 Ks a game. And he's the home run leader in the league too. So Ohtani far and away the best player in the league and the MVP. And then Garrett Cole, as I just mentioned, right in there in fifth, tied with Jesus Luzardo from Miami with 144 strikeouts. So let's go back to, I keep going back. Here we go. Home runs, as I mentioned, Ohtani with 36 home runs. Can he beat Aaron Judge's record? He's got around 62 more games to do it. Can he beat it? Let me know in the comments below. I think he has a chance, man, because this guy is a freak of nature when he gets up at bat. And you got Matt Olson, the power hitter for Atlanta. This guy's a beast too. Hits it far, hits with runners in scoring position. He's been fantastic for them. And his average has gone up pretty well too this year. 32 homers, no joke for Matt Olson. And Luis Robert, one of the bright spots, probably one of the only bright spots of the White Sox organization, 28 homers. He's been very good, but unfortunately the White Sox just are not there this year. And then Mookie Betts, as we talked about before, with 27 homers, doing a good job helping the Dodgers back to the top of their division. And then Kyle Schwarber, 26 homers. We know how this guy operates. Hits a lot of homers, strikes out a lot, bats for a low average. But his average is just very low. As you guys saw the other day, we highlighted him as a struggling star. He just hasn't been hitting well at all, only batting 189 this year, which is way lower than his career average, which is about 230. So, like I said, we don't expect him to, be getting on base too much, but 189 is extremely low, but he's still up there in homers, just like he is every year. Now we're going to check out ERA leaders. Blake Snell with a 2.67 ERA leading the league. Refreshing to see him back up there as he was dominant with the Rays, and now he's bouncing back this season. As I mentioned, Eovaldi with a 2.9 ERA. He's doing very well for himself as well. Garrett Cole right down there as well, 2.78 ERA, Cy Young candidate. Shane McClanahan, 2.89. And then Framber Valdez, who previously was up there, as you guys saw the article about the Cy Young winner. I had him up there, but he's fallen down the list, only a 2.94 ERA now, as a previous at 2.5. So he might fall down off the Cy Young list. Now let's check out RBIs. Matt Olson and Adolis Garcia lead the league with 80 RBIs. Ohtani's right up there as well with 77. Arenado, great bright spot for the Cardinals this year with 76 RBIs. And Josh Naylor for the Guardians right up there as well with 76 RBIs. Don't pitch these guys when there's runners in scoring position, or they will get the ball in play. Now let's look at stolen bases, as I was talking about. Ronald Acuna, 46 stolen bases, one of the fastest players in the league and one of the best hitters in the league as well, just doing it all. And then you got Asturi Ruiz for the Athletics, one of the few bright spots of that team. He's going to be very good. Corbin Carroll as well with 29, Wander Franco 28, Bobby Witt Jr. for Kansas City, another bright spot with 28 stolen bases. And then hits, Luis Arraez leads the league with 139, Ronald Acuna with 131, Bo Bichette, all-star with 130, Freddie Freeman with 129, and then it drops way off to Lane Thomas with 116. And we already looked at strikeouts, saves. You can see right here some of the best closers in the league. Camilo Doval for the Giants up there with 30, Alexis Diaz for the Reds with 29, Bautista for the Orioles with 28, Emmanuel Clase for the Guardians with 27, and Jordan Romano with 27 for the Blue Jays. All right, now let's take a look at the matchup of the week, in my opinion. You can see it right here. New York versus New York. Subway Series is starting back up tomorrow night. And now, obviously, both teams have had their struggles, but the Subway Series is a classic series. You guys should definitely tune in. As you can see, it's on TBS. You got Justin Verlander versus Domingo Germain. Obviously, Germain had the perfect game last month, and Verlander, he had a good start last time he was out there. So that matchup should be very good. Definitely tune into that. And then the next night, it's going to be Jose Quintana versus Carlos Rondon. And then it doesn't go any further than that. Oh, wait, we can pull up Thursday's schedule here. Oh, they're only going to play two. Interesting. They're only going to play 2 games for this Subway Series. Interesting. Okay, well, excuse me for that. They're going to be only playing 2 games this Subway Series. So tune into those 2 games, especially that one tomorrow night. That should be a good one between Germain and Verlander. All right, that concludes episode 1 of the TBBaseball Daily podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next episode.